My name is Ariyo Salami from Allen, Texas, and this is a proposal to President Barack Obama and all Americans, as well as governments and citizens of the world, on how we may reduce the number and severity of future recessions. My proposal is that we create and actively use an alternative additional market index or market indices for stocks and houses that calculate stock or house prices based on the weighted average of the historical prices of the stock or house adjusted for inflation. This proposal, I believe, focuses on the major root cause of the current economic crisis. This root cause is overspending. Overspending was in turn caused by the fact that we all valued our wealth using inflated marginal stock prices or marginal house prices. By providing people with the weighted average price of their stocks and houses, as well as the marginal price, they will be able to make more rational estimates of their wealth, reduce their spending, and thereby reduce the propensity to create more bubbles in the future. President Obama has talked several times about the need to create a solid foundation for real growth out of the ashes of this recession and the importance of avoiding bubbles in the future. I believe my proposal will be a good tool in ensuring we achieve this objective. This proposal requires that we create a culture of using more realistic or conservative estimates in our day-to-day lives. The weighted average stock price that I'm proposing should be quoted along with the marginal price to all traders in the market. 401k statements, mutual fund statements, and all investment account statements should be required to show client account balances at both marginal and weighted average prices. Banks should be encouraged to use these conservative numbers, of course, they adjust it for their risk appetite, when valuing assets to accept as security for loans. People should be encouraged, and especially younger people should be taught to calculate their net worth using the more conservative indices. As an example, Apple stock may have a marginal price of $200, but the weighted average inflation adjusted price could be, say, $78. The two values must be available to traders in the market. The fact that this information is available will moderately arrest the speculative growth of the $200 price. There have been news reports of how Americans lost $20 trillion in the stock market in the past 8 months. I am not trying here to diminish people's pain, but the reality is that the $20 trillion did not exist in the first instance and could never have been realized. But the damage to people is worse than waking up to find that their fantasy wealth is gone because people actually acted on those fantasies and overextended themselves. As another example, the Nikkei index recently went below 20% of the peak it reached 19 years ago. That means it went 80% down. The Nasdaq is currently below 40% of its peak 8 years ago. We need to stop living as if markets always go up. At this stage in the development of the world, with all our education and our enlightenment, it is so 15th century for us to continue to go through the pains of extreme bubbles and busts. We probably will never be able to eliminate swings in the economy, but we can do better and must do better. There are several steps that must be taken to avoid future bubbles, and regulation is definitely an important component of that, and it must be done. I'm a strong supporter of that. But I believe that my proposal here addresses the root cause of bubbles even more and at a lower cost because it involves everyone acting in their own best interests. When people tend to buy less at higher prices, we reduce the tendency of prices to go even higher. The implementation of my proposal may not be easy, and some will argue it will cause the economy to contract initially, but so would forcing banks to use less leverage. We will need to carefully evaluate the impact of this proposal on our fragile banking system, businesses, and everyone at large. But we have to do this not only for ourselves, but for our children. Much has been talked about how we are leaving a lot of deficits to our children. But I believe that if we implement my proposal, we can be more certain that over the next several decades, we will all live more within our means because we will all have lower mental net worths or wealth, we will all spend less, and thereby leave less deficits for future generations. Or better still, leave them surpluses. It can happen. For the records, I did submit this same proposal to the Google 10 to power 100 project about 7 to 8 months ago. But I am now of the opinion that this proposal will work better with government support and mandates. And that is why I appealed to President Obama and the US government. The creation and supply of the information, of course, will still be a private sector venture. Thank you.